The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets overhead, casting jagged shadows across the sweat-slicked benches of the Elmwood High locker room. I slammed my fist into the metal door of my locker, the echo ripping through the empty space like a gunshot, because that's what it felt like. That raw, hollow ache exploding in my chest after Coach had benched me for the championship game. "Anthony, you're off your game," he'd growled, his words slicing deeper than any tackle ever could. But it wasn't the benching that gutted me. It was the face across the room. David, my best friend since we were kids trading Pokemon cards in the sandbox, staring at me with eyes that held something I'd never seen before. Not pity, but hunger. He moved before I could blink, his cleats scraping the tile like a predator closing in. And in that split second, the air thickened with the scent of chlorine and unspoken truths. "Fuck the game, Ant," he whispered, his voice cracking like thunder on the horizon, as his hand gripped my shoulder, not to console, but to claim. And just like that, the world I'd built brick by brick around our unbreakable bromance crumbled, leaving me exposed, heart pounding, wondering if the surprise in his touch was the end of us or the spark that would burn it all down. I remember the exact moment it started unraveling, that humid Friday night in late September when the leaves in our sleepy Ohio suburb were just starting to turn the color of old bruises. Elmwood High was the kind of place where Friday night lights weren't just a game, they were religion. The bleachers swelled with flannel-wrapped parents nursing thermoses of spiked coffee, cheerleaders shaking pom-poms like they could summon victory from the ether, and us, the Wildcats, pounding our chests under those blinding floods, convinced we were invincible. David and I had been the dynamic duo since freshman year. Me, Anthony Reyes, the wiry quarterback with a cannon arm and a chip on my shoulder the size of Lake Erie. Him, David Harlan, the linebacker who hit like a freight train and laughed like he owned the sun. We'd grown up 2 blocks apart on Maple Street, backyards bleeding into each other over a sagging chain-link fence. Our moms were best friends from nursing school, both single, both scraping by on shifts that left us fending for ourselves with microwave dinners and bootleg cable. David was the golden boy, tousled blonde hair that caught the light like wheat fields in summer, easy grin that disarmed teachers and girls alike, and a body built for sin from years of hauling hay bales on his uncle's farm. Me, I was the wild card, dark curls that never stayed tamed, olive skin from my dad's Mexican roots he never stuck around to claim, and eyes that my abuela swore could see straight through lies. We balanced each other, his steadiness to my storm, his optimism to my cynicism. That night, after the buzzer sealed our 28-14 win over the Riverton Raiders, the locker room was a zoo of whoops and high fives, steam rolling off us like we'd just clawed out of hell. I stripped down to my jock, the ache in my ribs from a late hit throbbing in time with my pulse, and headed for the showers. David was right behind me, towel slung over his shoulder, barking some dumb joke about how I'd thrown that game-winning spiral like it was a love letter to the end zone. "Man, you painted that corner like Picasso on steroids," he said, his voice booming over the spray. I laughed, but it caught in my throat as water hit my skin, hot and forgiving. Lately, things had felt off. Not bad, just charged, like static before a storm. I'd catch myself watching him a beat too long in practice, the way his muscles flexed under his pads, the salt tracks on his neck after a sprint. I'd shake it off, blame the adrenaline, but it lingered, a whisper I didn't dare name. Gay? Nah, couldn't be. Not in Elmwood, where the closest thing to out and proud was the rainbow flag at the county fair that some redneck had tried to burn last 4th of July. David had a girlfriend, sorta Katie from chem class, all freckles and giggles, but it was casual, the kind of thing that kept the rumors at bay. Post-game ritual. We lingered in the showers longer than the others, talking shit about the refs, planning our escape to the Dairy Queen for chili fries and shakes. That's when it happened. The team filtered out, voices fading down the hall toward the parking lot, leaving just the hiss of water and our echoes. I turned off my faucet, shaking droplets from my hair, and there he was, David, not 2 feet away, eyes locked on mine with an intensity that pinned me in place. His towel hung low on his hips, water tracing paths down his chest that I suddenly couldn't stop following. "Aunt," he said, low and rough, stepping closer until the space between us crackled. "You okay? You've been distant." My heart jackhammered. "Just the hit, man. I'll shake it." It was everything, the pressure of senior year, college scouts sniffing around, the fear that one wrong move would torch the only real thing in my life, him. But he didn't buy it. His hand came up, thumb brushing my collarbone where a bruise bloomed purple, and electricity shot through me, straight to my core. I froze, breath hitching, as his touch lingered, exploratory, like he was mapping uncharted territory. Then, without warning, he closed the gap. His lips crashed into mine, not soft, not tentative, but desperate, like he'd been holding back a dam and it finally burst. Salt and heat and him, all muscle and need pressing me against the tiled wall. My brain short-circuited. This was David, my David, kissing me like I was oxygen after drowning. I kissed back. God, did I kiss back? Hands fisting in his wet hair, pulling him closer until there was no air, no world, just us tangled in the steam. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed together, his breath ragged against my neck. Fuck. And I've wanted that since. Shit. Forever. His voice trembled, vulnerability cracking through his tough guy shell. Panic clawed at me, not regret, but terror. What if someone saw? What if this ruined us? David, we can't. I started, but he silenced me with a finger to my lips. Ice fierce. We already did, and just like that, the locker room, our sanctuary, became ground zero for the earthquake that would shake our friendship to its foundations. The weeks that followed were a fever dream, equal parts bliss and brinkmanship. By day, we were the same bros on the field, trading barbs in the halls, double dating with Katie and her friend Sarah to keep up appearances. But after dark, stolen moments in his truck parked at the quarry's edge, hands exploring under flannel shirts, whispers of "I got you" against skin that tasted like freedom. It was messy, uncharted, 2 17-year-olds fumbling towards something bigger than ourselves, hearts pounding in sync under the Ohio stars. David was all in, reckless in that all-American way, quoting lines from those old John Hughes movies we binged on rainy Saturdays. "You're my Andy, Aunt. Screw the world. We'll make our own rules." He'd grin, that boyish flash of teeth, and I'd melt, because yeah, maybe we could. Elmwood wasn't San Francisco. It was cornfields and church suppers, where queer was a slur hissed behind bleachers. But with him, I felt seen, not as the half-Mexican kid with the deadbeat dad, but as Anthony, flawed, fierce, loved. Still, cracks formed early. Practice ran long one Tuesday, scouts from Ohio State in the stands, and coach pulled me aside. "Reyes, focus. Harlan's carrying you out there." Bullshit, David and I were a unit, seamless. But doubt wormed in, fed by the whispers I caught. Harlan's got that QB on a leash. Jealousy? Or something uglier? I shoved it down, but it festered. Then came homecoming. Katie cornered David in the parking lot, her voice shrill enough to carry. If you're not gonna commit, Dave, I'm done. He laughed it off later, over beers swiped from his uncle's fridge. But I saw the flicker. Guilt? Regret? It's nothing. And she's just pressure. His hand found mine under the tailgate, squeezing tight. You're it for me. I believed him. God, I did. But belief's a fragile thing in the heartland, where secrets bloom like weeds in cracked concrete. And ours? It was primed to choke us both. Halloween hit Elmwood like a sugar rush on steroids. Pumpkin patches popping up overnight, hayrides snaking through the fields, and the annual bonfire at Miller's farm where half the town turned out to roast marshmallows and pretend they weren't nursing grudges from last year's kegger. David and I had a tradition. We'd ditch the crowds early, hike out to the old water tower on the edge of town, and spray paint our initials higher up each year, a stupid ritual that marked our growth like tree rings. This time, though, felt different, loaded, like every brush of his fingers against mine as we climbed the rusted ladder was a promise etched in steel. Up top, the wind whipped cold off the fields, carrying the distant crackle of the fire. We sat shoulder to shoulder, legs dangling over the abyss, cans of cheap beer warming in our laps. Remember when we were 12 and thought we'd join the Marines? David chuckled, his breath fogging the October chill. Fight bad guys. Save the world. Now look at us, sneaking around like Bonnie and Clyde, but with more making out. I nudged him, heart swelling. Hey, we're saving each other. That's something. He turned, eyes soft in the moonlight, and pulled me into a kiss that started slow. Tender nips and sighs, then ignited, hands roaming urgent under hoodies, the metal girders creaking beneath our shifting weight. It was perfect, raw, him murmuring my name like a prayer, me arching into his touch, the world shrinking to the heat between us. But perfection's a lie we tell ourselves before the fall. Monday morning, the rumor mill churned. Katie had hooked up with Tommy Reese, the wide receiver with the Coke can arms and a mouth like a storm drain. By lunch, it was gospel, spread via Snapchat streaks and hushed clusters at the picnic tables. David shrugged it off in the cafeteria line, loading his tray with tater tots like armor. Good riddance. She was clingy anyway, but his jaw ticked, that telltale muscle flexing, and when practice hit, he laid out Tommy with a hit that echoed like thunder. Helmet to ribs, no flag, just pure, unfiltered rage. Coach reamed him in the huddle. Harlan, what the hell? This ain't the WWE. David spat blood-flecked grass, eyes wild. He deserved it. Later, in the trainer's room, ice packs on his knuckles, he cracked, voice low, venomous. That prick thinks he can take what's mine? After everything, mine. The word hung, possessive and fierce, but it twisted something in me. Was it Katie he meant? Or us? I let it slide, chalked it up to bruised ego, but the unease settled like frost. That night, we snuck into my basement, parents both working late, and things escalated. Clothes shed in a frenzy, bodies colliding on the worn couch that smelled of spilled Doritos and old dreams. It was our first time going all the way, tentative and intense. Him above me, sweat slick and straining, whispering, "I love you," like it was a secret weapon. I shattered around him, tears pricking my eyes. Not pain, but overwhelm. The kind that comes when you realize you're not alone in your skin anymore. After Tangled in sheets we'd yanked from my bed, he traced patterns on my chest. This is real, right? Us against the world. I nodded, throat tight, because yeah, it felt like salvation. But salvation's got a shadow, and ours loomed larger with every stolen glance in the halls. November brought rain, relentless sheets that turned the field to mud and the town to ghosts. College apps loomed like storm clouds. Ohio State for me, Penn State for him, separate paths that gnawed at the edges of our bubble. We'd talk futures in hushed tones during drives to the quarry. Him dreaming of pro ball, me hedging bets with a journalism minor because writing felt safe. Words I could control. We'll make it work, he'd say, hand on my thigh as the wipers slapped rhythm. Long distance? Piece of cake, but control's an illusion. The betrayal brewed slow, fermented in the locker room where it all began. It was post-Thanksgiving practice, the team ragged from turkey comas and early darkness. I lingered, taping my ankle, when voices filtered from the showers, David's, low and laughing, mingled with Tommy's gravelly drawl. Curiosity pulled me closer, silent on socked feet. Katie was fire, man. But you, shit, Harlan, you're playing with matches. Tommy's tone was sleazy, probing. David's laugh, forced, edged. Nah, bro. It's not like that. A pause, heavy. Look, what happened with Ant. It's complicated. He's my boy, but sometimes you gotta keep things straight. You know? For the scouts. For the team. My blood iced over. Keep things straight. The words landed like shrapnel, ripping open doubts I'd buried deep. Was I a phase? A secret to stash until the spotlight hit? I backed away, heart hammering, and bolted before they emerged, dressed, oblivious, the fracture widening with every step. That night, he texted, "Miss you already." Corey? I stared at the screen, thumb hovering, the lie forming easy. Sick. Rain check. It was the first crack in our armor, but God, it spread fast. The fallout simmered through December, snow blanketing Elmwood in white lies. We still hooked up, frantic, guilty trysts in his truck or my basement, but the ease was gone, replaced by a tightness in his smiles, a hesitation in my touches. I'd replay that conversation on loop, keep things straight. For the team. For himself. Betrayal didn't come with fanfare. It whispered, eroded, left you hollowed out. Christmas Eve. His family hosted the block party, eggnog flowing, lights twinkling like false stars. I played the part. Bro hugs, inside jokes, even flirted with Sarah to sell the normalcy. David pulled me aside mid-carol, breath minty with spiked cider. What's up with you lately? Feels like you're a ghost. His eyes searched mine, pleading. I wanted to scream. You tell me, Dave. Am I your dirty little secret? But fear choked it down. Just stressed. Apps and shit. He bought it, or pretended to, kissing me quick behind the garage, all tongue and urgency. We got this, but as fireworks popped overhead, I wondered, got what? Exactly, New Year's brought the axe. The team party at Tommy's lake house, booze, bass thumping, bodies grinding in the dim. David stuck to me like glue at first, arms slung casual over my shoulders. But then Katie showed, tipsy, vengeful, zeroing in on him like a heat-seeking missile. They vanished into the kitchen, laughter spilling out, and something in me snapped. I found them there, her perched on the counter, legs wrapped around his waist, his hands on her hips not pushing away. The kiss was deep, hungry, the kind that leaves marks. Tommy hovered in the doorway, smirking like he'd won the lottery. Our eyes met, David's widening in horror as he broke free, but it was too late. The room spun, while rising, and I was out the door, boots crunching snow, the cold knifing my lungs. He caught me at my truck, grabbing my arm. "Aunt, wait, it's not." "Not what?" I whirled, voice shattering the night. "Not you playing both sides? Keeping me in the shadows while you chase the all-American dream." Tears burned hot, mixing with the sleet. "I heard you, Dave. In the locker room. Keep it straight. Was I ever more than that? Your experiment." His face crumpled, raw and ruined. "God, no." "Tommy's full of shit," he twisted it. I was scared. Okay. Scared of losing everything. "But you're everything." He stepped closer, desperate. "I love you. Please." The words I'd craved, delivered too late. "Love's not a part-time job." I shoved past, engine roaring to life, leaving him in the snow, a silhouette swallowed by the storm. January in Ohio is a cruel joke. Gray skies pressing down like a lid on a boiling pot, wind howling through bare branches like it's got a personal grudge. School dragged, a gauntlet of averted eyes and forced small talk. David and I orbiting each other in the halls like wary planets, close enough to feel the pull but too scorched to collide. Practice was torture. Him pancaking receivers with renewed fury, me threading passes that sailed wild, coach's clipboard snapping like gunfire. "Reyes, Harlan, get your heads in the game." But our heads were elsewhere. Mine replaying that kiss with Katie, his shadowed by whatever guilt gnawed at his edges. I threw myself into distractions. Late nights pounding out essays on my ancient laptop, the glow illuminating posters of Kurt Cobain and Frida Kahlo, icons of quiet rebellion. My mom noticed, of course. She always did, with her nurse's eye for fractures. Over Ken's soup one night, she set down her spoon. "Mijo, what's eating you? You and David. It's like you two had a fight over who gets the last Pop-Tart." I deflected, "Just guy stuff." But she pierced me with that look, the one that said, "I see you, even if you hide." David tried bridges. Notes slipped into my locker, "Talk to me. Please." Glances across the chem lab that begged forgiveness. Once, after a brutal scrimmage, he cornered me in the weight room, sweat dripping, tank clinging to his frame. "Aunt, I fucked up. Katie was nothing. A rebound, a mistake. But you're my anchor." His voice broke, hand reaching tentative. I wanted to believe, to fold into him like before, but trust's a house of cards after the first gust. No more half measures. "Dave." I stepped back, barbell clanging as I racked it. "You want me? All in. No hiding." He nodded, fierce. But the scouts were circling, Ohio State reps at the next game, whispering nil deals and starting spots. The pressure mounted, a vice on his broad shoulders, and I saw it, the war between heart and hustle. Valentine's Day landed like a sucker punch. The school turned into a rom-com set, balloons in lockers, serenades in the quad, but for us, it was shrapnel. I skipped lunch, holing up in the library with Kerouacs on the road, chasing escape in words about open highways and unspoken loves. He found me there, a red rose pilfered from the florist, held out like a white flag. Truce. His smile was crooked, hopeful. We ended up at the quarry, truck bed lined with blankets, the lake frozen silver under a rare blue sky. It started with apologies, his tear-streaked and tumbling. I panicked, and the town's small, the stakes huge. But losing you, that's the real game ender. I forgave him, or tried, pulling him down, kisses fierce and forgiving, bodies rediscovering rhythm in the cold air. It was cathartic, reclaiming him inside me again, slow and deep, breaths mingling in clouds. Forever, he vowed against my neck, and in that moment, with snowflakes dusting our skin, I believed we could thaw the winter between us. But forever's a word for fools. February thawed into March madness. Basketball bleeding into spring football, the air buzzing with pollen and possibility. David's star rose. Penn State offered a full ride, complete with hype videos splicing his hits with Springsteen anthems. Mine lagged. Ohio State polite but non-committal, my arm still shaky from that rib shot. Insecurity crept in. A thief in the night. Was I holding him back? The golden boy tethered to the outsider? The conflict crested at prom. Elmwood's version was low-budget glamour. Gym strung with fairy lights, punch spiked with whatever the seniors could swipe. We went stag, me with Sarah as a shield, him with a cousin from Cleveland to dodge questions. But eyes followed us, whispers sharpening. Harlan and Reyes, thick as thieves. Or thicker. Tommy fueled it, cornering me by the DJ booth, breath sour with beer. Heard you two are real close. That why Katie dumped his ass? Or you poaching turf? I shoved him, hard, fists clenched, vision tunneling. Mind your own, Reese. But David saw, wading in like a knight errant, laying Tommy out with one swing. Chaos erupted. Chaperones yelling, kids filming on phones, coach dragging us apart. In the parking lot, sirens wailing distant, David turned on me, eyes blazing. What the fuck? Ant? You can't just swing like that. Scouts see this shit. We're done. Me? Rage boiled over, hot and unfiltered. You're the one dancing with denial, one foot in our world, one in theirs, Katie, the team, the facade. I'm tired of being your shadow, he recoiled, face paling under the sodium lights. It's not God, and it's survival. For us, you think I want this? His voice cracked, pleading turning to accusation. Maybe if you weren't so damn reckless. Pushing when I say wait. Wait for what? You to grow a spine. The words lashed out, cruel in their truth. He flinched, and something inside me fractured further. Go, Dave. Play it straight. I'll find my own field. He left me there, taillights fading into the rain-slick night, the prom's bass thumping like a dying heart. Betrayal's sting deepened. Not just his hypocrisy, but my own complicity, the years I'd spent building walls around this love, fearing its weight. April brought renewal, or so the poets say, buds unfurling, but for us, it was reckoning. I threw myself into track, pounding pavement until my lungs burned, each stride a perch. David vanished into training camps, texts sparse. Miss you. We good? I'd stare. Unsent replies piling like unread mail. Mom confronted me over tacos one night. Anthony, love isn't a solo hike. If it's real, fight for it. Her eyes, wise and weary, echoed my abuela's stories of lost chances across borders. The climax brewed at the state playoffs. Elmwood versus Central, the decider under Friday lights that felt like Judgment Day. I started, arm steady for once, threading needles through defenses like fate's own script. David anchored the line. A wall of fury, sacking the QB thrice by halftime. We were electric, unspoken synergy crackling until the fourth quarter. Score tied. 2 minutes left. I dropped back, scanned, and there it was, David breaking free on a screen, wide open. Our eyes locked across the chaos. Trust, raw and electric, and I fired. It was perfect, a spiral kissed by gods, arcing true. He hauled it in, juked 2 defenders, and dove into the end zone as time expired. Touchdown. Victory. The crowd erupted, teammates piling on, but he rose from the dog pile, zeroing on me, helmet off, grin splitting his face mud-streaked. We collided midfield, hugs fierce under the glare, the moment suspending time. "We did it," he gasped, voice thick. But as confetti rained, Tommy's crew lingered on the sidelines, phones out, capturing the hug that lasted a beat too long, bodies pressed, hands lingering on pads. By morning, it was viral, Wildcat lovers trending local, memes twisting our triumph into scandal. The backlash hit like a nor'easter. Coach's office, parents' calls, school board murmurs of conduct clauses. David's dad, stoic farmer with a Bible on the dash, grounded him indefinite, whispering about fixing this phase. My mom shielded me, fierce as a lioness. No son of mine apologizes for love. But the fracture was seismic. Our sanctuary, the field, turned Coliseum. That night, he climbed through my window, classic rom-com move, but waited with desperation. Rain lashed the panes as he paced, soaked and shaking. "They're pulling my offer, and say I'm a distraction. Dad." He called it a sin, his voice hollowed, eyes red-rimmed. "I can't lose you, but I can't lose everything." The chasm yawned, his fear versus my fire. "Then choose, Dave, or the script they wrote." Silence stretched, agonizing, until he whispered, "I need time, time." The coward's grace. I nodded, numb, as he slipped away, leaving me with the storm and the shards. May bloomed treacherous, lilacs mocking the ache with their sweetness, graduation caps looming like guillotines. Elmwood High felt like a pressure cooker, assemblies droning about futures, yearbooks passed with sharp-scrawled "Stay Golden," but undercurrents swirled dark. The video, grainy, looped on every feed, painted us as punchlines. Quarterback's queer crush seals the deal. Tommy milked it, strutting halls like a peacock, while Katie posted cryptic quotes about toxic masculinity that screamed her fingerprints. David withdrew, a ghost in shoulder pads. Texts dwindled to logistics, practice at 3, eyes downcast in the huddle. I burned, alternating fury and longing. Fury at his silence, longing for the boy who'd kissed me in the steam. Track meets became my confessional, miles blurring tears into sweat. But even there, scouts ghosted. Ohio State's letter a polite regret, citing fit. Mom raged on my behalf, calling it bigotry in a suit. But I saw the truth. We were collateral in America's heartland grudge match against difference. The betrayal's second wave crashed mid-month, courtesy of an anonymous tip to the local rag, the Elmwood Gazette, that ragtag weekly with more ads than ethics. Front page, Wildcats winning duo, off-field drama rocks team. Blurry stills from the hug, quotes from sources twisting our words, me as the aggressive instigator, David the reluctant participant. His dad gave a statement. My boys focused on football. This is a distraction we'll move past. No mention of us, just erasure. I confronted him after calc, slamming my locker so hard the mirror rattled. Your dad? Really? He knows, Dave, about the quarry, the basement. And that's his spin. He flinched, backpack slung low like armor. Aunt, this damage control. If I push back, damage. I laughed. Bitter shards. To your image? Screw that. I'm out here bleeding, and you're playing PR puppet. Hallway traffic slowed, ice pricking our bubble, but I didn't care. You said forever. Was that just pillow talk? His face twisted, pain, then resolve. It's not that simple. You think I want this cage? But if I come out now, no Penn State, no pro dreams. And you, Ohio State's blackballing you because of me. This hurts us both. The word dangled, a lifeline fraying. Then fight with me, I pleaded, voice cracking. We're stronger together. He looked away, jaw set, and in that silence, the chasm swallowed hope. I can't, he murmured. Not yet. Not yet became never as he walked away, leaving echoes in the fluorescent hum. Isolation hit like vertigo. Friends ghosted, subtle at first, then stark. No invites to bonfires, whispers trailing like smoke. Sarah cornered me in the girls' bathroom, ironic refuge, tears in her eyes. It's not you. And scary. For them. Even Mom's circle tightened. Her nursing shifts doubled. Whispers at the hospital about that Reyes boy. I wrote it out, feverish journals, poems scrawled on napkins, channeling the hurt into ink, dreaming of escape to some city where love didn't come with footnotes. David's attempts at amends were whispers. A mixtape slipped under my door, the Smiths. For the melancholy. Notes in my gym bag, I'm sorry. I love you. Each chipped at my resolve, but pride held the line. Until the senior trip, 3 days at Cedar Point, the roller coaster capital, a forced march of nostalgia. We boarded buses segregated by cliques, but fate or masochism seated us across the aisle, knees brushing accidental. The first night, under Millennium Force's shadow, the group scattered booze flowing illicit from coolers. I wandered to the lakefront, toes in sand, the coaster's screams a distant roar. He found me there, silhouette etched against Ferris wheel lights. Aunt, one word, laden. We didn't speak at first, just sat, waves lapping, the air thick with unsaid. Then it poured, his confessions, torrent fast. Dad's sending me to conversion camp this summer. Fix me before Penn State. Mom's crying every night. I hate it, all of it, but if I bail, I'm out on the street. Conversion camp. The phrase landed like acid, burning illusions. And you? You'd go? Let them carve you into their version. He buried his face in hands, shoulders shaking. I don't know. For the family. For the dream. His holy grail, built on our bones. Rage surged, hot and holy. Your dream's killing us, Dave. I'm not a footnote. I stood, sand kicking. Go. Get fixed. But don't come crawling when it hollows you out. He grabbed my wrist, grip iron. Don't make me choose. But eyes pleaded the opposite. Choose me. Choose us. The coaster crested overhead, a scream peaking, and in that howl, I yanked free. Too late. Dawn broke gray as I boarded the bus alone, his absence a void. June scorched in, graduation a blur of gowns and gripping grins. Valedictorian droned about horizons. I scanned the crowd for him, cap tassel swaying, Forced smile for cameras. Diplomas in hand, we scattered, him to farm chores and shadowed prep, me to community college orientation, a safety net of Jenny DS and night shifts at the diner. Text ceased. The mixtape gathered dust. Betrayal ossified into grief, a mourning for the boy I'd loved and the man he might become. But climax demands crescendo. It detonated July 4th, Elmwood's blowout at the fairgrounds. Fireworks, funnel cakes, a midway alive with neon lies. I went solo, mom's urging, get out, breathe, weaving through crowds that parted subtle, judgments veiled in smiles. Then, the Ferris wheel slow grind upward, cabins swaying gentle. I climbed in alone, city lights winking distant, until the operator barked, "One more!" And there he was, David, slipping in last second, our knees colliding inevitable. The wheel lurched skyward, trapping us in glass and tension. Aunt, his voice, roughened by weeks unspoken. Fireworks popped below, but up here, it was just us, raw, unfiltered. I couldn't stay away. You shouldn't, but my heart betrayed me, thudding traitor loud. He leaned in, hand on my thigh, electric, familiar. Camp starts tomorrow. Dad's orders. But tonight, let me have this. His kiss was apocalypse. Desperate, devouring, the wheel cresting as stars burst overhead. We tumbled into it, hands frantic, breaths ragged, reclaiming lost ground in stolen minutes. I choose you, he gasped against my neck, the lie sweet as sin. But lies erode, and as the wheel descended, reality intruded. His phone buzzing, Dad, demanding pickup. At the gate, he lingered, eyes shattered glass. Write me? From college? I nodded, throat sealed, watching him melt into the throng. A fireworks afterglow, fading fast. The summer stretched interminable. Me slinging burgers, words flowing freer in essays about fractured identities. Him, vanished into therapy that emails confirmed was hell. They pray over us and pray the devil out. But you're my angel. Each missive a hook, reeling me back. But distance bred clarity. Love alone wasn't enough. It needed courage. August dawn decision. Penn State welcomed him. Reformed. My acceptance to Kent State arrived. Journalism scholarship attached. A door cracked open. The night before he left, he showed at my window, duffel packed, eyes hollowed. One last time, we didn't speak much, just bodies, urgent and elegiac, mapping goodbyes in skin. Dawn crept, and he dressed, pausing at the sill. This isn't the end, but endings hide in plain sight. It is what we make it. He kissed my forehead, brotherly, final, and vanished into fog. Autumn at Kent State was rebirth wrapped in rust. Leaves carpeting paths like confetti from a parade I almost missed. Lecture halls buzzing with accents from coasts I'd only read about. I dove in Intro to Lit with a prof who quoted Baldwin like scripture. Dorm parties where queerness wasn't whispered but worn like badges. First crush. A barista named Micah. All freckles and Foucault. But it fizzled gentle, no fireworks. Just the soft landing of moving on. Still, David's ghost lingered. A flannel in my closet smelling of hay and him. Playlists shuffling to creep on rainy walks. Emails trickled at first, campus is intense. Miss your voice. Then sparse, practice killing me. Thinking of you. I replied measured, boundaries firm, proud of you. Be you. But pride's a mask for ache. And ache for him sharpened come November, Thanksgiving break. Elmwood calling like a siren's dirge. Home was unchanged. Mom's hugs tighter, the fence between yards mended but symbolic. I avoided his house, but fate's a prankster. The Dairy Queen run collided us, him in Letterman jacket, me in thrift store denim. Aunt, that voice, deeper now, edged with strain. We ordered like old times, chili fries split, shakes vanilla/chocolate swirl, but conversation stuttered. His Nittany Lions undefeated, my op-ed on local sports homophobia published in the student rag. You always had the words, he said, stirring slow, eyes tracing my face like lost map. Read it. Hit close. Silence swelled. Pregnant. Camp. It didn't stick. Or maybe it did, taught me to fight back. Came out to the team last week. Coach benched me, but the guys mostly had my back. My chest cracked open, pride, relief, a stab of what if. Dave. That's huge. He reached across, fingers lacing mine under the table, thumb stroking knuckle. Couldn't without you. You're my North Star. The touch ignited embers. We lingered till closing, then his truck. Familiar rumble to the quarry, where gravel crunched under tires like bones. There, under harvest moon, we talked real, his therapy now actual, with a counselor via Zoom. My fears of being too much for anyone. The betrayal scar tissue, flexible but tender. I chose wrong, he admitted, voice gravel. The dream over us. But dreams shift, you showed me that. Kisses followed, unhurried, relearning curves, sighs sinking like forgotten songs. It wasn't frenzy, but foundation, him entering slow, eyes locked, murmuring home against my lips. We shattered together, not in explosion but wave, gentle, profound. Winter break sealed tentative peace. Stolen weekends, him driving down with excuses, scouting trip. Me up for games where he shone, dedicating hits with winks only I caught. Conflicts lingered. His dad's frostbitten silences. My mom's cautious, he's trying. Me Joe, but we navigated. Therapist's tools in tandem, boundaries, check-ins. The slow art of trust rebuilt. Spring bloomed alliance. Pride Fest in Columbus. Our first public handhold. Nervous laughs amid rainbows. His arm steel around me as counter-protesters jeered. Worth it, he grinned, kissing my temple bold. Betrayal's echo faded, transmuted to testimony. We spoke at a school assembly back home. David on vulnerability's strength, me on love's quiet revolutions. Elmwood shifted subtle. A GSA club sprouted. Tommy transferred. Karma's wink. Climax revisited. Redeemed at summer's cusp. Ohio State's combine invite for me. Late bloom from a viral clip of my prom night pass. David flew in. Penn State Blues traded for Wildcats gear in solidarity. The field test. Scouts circling. Pressure mounting. But he was there post-drill. Towel around neck. Pulling me into a hug that screamed we made it. No cameras twisted it. Just triumph. Shared. Yet humanism demands nuance, no tidy bows. Senior year at Kent. Micah resurfaced as friend. Stirring David's old insecurities. He gets you, in ways I fumble. We fought raw. Real, him storming to the farm. Me journaling fury. But reconciliation came in letters, his, handwritten on linen paper. I see you, Anthony. All of you. Teach me. Mine, forgiving the flaws we both carried. By fall's end, we stood at the water tower, initials faded, but we added fresh. A&D forever. Spray bold. Graduation duel. His NFL draft whisper, third round. Browns? Poetic. My degree framed with byline stacking. The wedding? Not yet, too young. Too scarred. But rings glinted promise on chains. Vows etched in hearts. The locker room surprise? It echoes still. Steam and shock birthing not ruin, but revelation. Friendship evolved to love. Battered but unbroken. A testament. In America's fractured heart, two boys can rewrite the script. Not heroes, just human, flawed, fierce, forever entangled. We drove west that summer. Route 66 calling, open road. Windows down. His hand on my knee. Where to? I asked. Wind whipping curls. He grinned. That sunlit flash. Everywhere. As long as it's us. And damn if that wasn't the truest play of all.